So how did you find out about the labyrinth? Like this is something that has been talked about for a long time.
Thousands of years.
Yeah, but no one, it's not in any like traditional archaeology books. It's not.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. No, it is. So the labyrinth is kind of this is the other part that drew me to it. Is that it isn't something that's coming out of left field, right? It's not like this, oh, no one ever heard of this before. It's literally a structure that was written about extensively over hundreds of years in antiquity by authors like Herodotus, Diodorus Siculus, Pliny the Elder, Strabo, Polonius Mela. Like there's all of these writers of antiquity, and you're talking about time frames from like 500 BC up to the 1st century AD, had visited it, and they'd written about it and talked about it, and they gave it this legend. Guys like Herodotus said that it surpasses the pyramids in grandeur, and then you have, so this is from Herodotus's Histories in the 5th century BC, and he says, "For this I saw myself, and I found it greater than words can say. For if one should put together and reckon up all the buildings and all of the great works produced by the Hellenes, the Greeks, they would prove to be inferior in labour and expense to this labyrinth." So he's saying that all of the temples of the Greeks, of ancient Greece, you've been there, you've seen the Acropolis, and just if you added them all up, the labour to produce them would be inferior in what it would take to just make this one thing in Egypt, the labyrinth.
That is underground.
That's underground, right. This isn't like the Khafre scan stuff where it's like you can debate the merits of the technology. This is established technology, and they found the labyrinth. So, and what he found is that, so what Lepsius said about the ruins of a Roman or Greek or Persian town with mud bricks and stuff. Yep, that's there in the first few meters. You go down, then you hit the water table. So that's the other issue on this site is the water table. So the water's at like 5 meters below the surface. And under that is the slab that Petrie found. So like 6-7 meters is at that huge slab that Petrie found that he thought was the foundation. And then below that, Petrie didn't dig deep enough. Below that, we can find essentially a labyrinthian structure of granite and very, very dense rocks and walls and like a maze-like structure that has walls that are meters thick. There's another great slide in there that's the green, and it's the actual VLF, right? That's it there. So, so this is at 8 meters with VLF sounding, so you can see like this labyrinthian structure of these walls and all of these lines and walls. So these are like granite. And the scale of this, it's 100 meters vertically by 150 meters.
100 meters tall?
Well, no, so...
Vertically?
No, so the y-axis, I guess, of this, so we're looking down in the ground here, but you got to look at the scale. Like across the top, that's 150 meters, right? So, I mean, 450 feet? So these are big walls. These are big chambers and big walls.
For people at home, it's like a football field.
Yeah, it's a football field. Well, it's more. I mean,
100 meters.
In Australia, it's my 100 meters is the football field, I think. I don't know how big.
Yeah,
pretty close
it's 100
here.
yards. What is the difference between 100 yards and 100 meters?
It's 100 yards is a little less. So 150 meters, and this is only a section of the labyrinth. They scanned 2 sections. The labyrinth itself is said to be much, much larger than this. So they found...
Much larger than that.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, no, it's
so what is the overall structure? Like,
it's like 1,000 feet at least.
Wow.
Like 3, 4, 5 times that size. I mean, you have to go back to the... We have some better indication with the more modern space-based scans now, but when they did the geophysical, like the ground-penetrating radar scan, so they scanned 2 areas. That was the bigger one, like in front of the pyramid. Then they did another one on the other side of the canal that runs through the site today, and they found it on both sides. So that's the difference between like what we say about the lab, like what the textbooks will tell you about the labyrinth, it not being there and it being destroyed, to no, we've actually, now there's been the Matterhorn expedition, confirmed it was there. And so what happened, this was interesting, and I have, I think, reasoning for why this happened, but it was covered up. And these are the words like Louis de Cordier, he eventually got sick of waiting, because what happens in Egypt, anything you do, whether it's you're an academic institution or you're an individual or a group that's funding some sort of expedition, you work with the Council of Antiquities. Today it's the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. But they essentially, it takes years to get access. And then once you do, though, they control release of information. So that's always part of the deal, right? It's that Egypt gets to do the announcing, and if and when they choose.